Hey, happy spring equinox, everyone. With the lengthening days and the warming temperatures, weeds are starting to spring, including grass. Ta-da! And so with that, especially in beds like here, which are all my alliums and little garlics, it is sometimes difficult to tell the difference between grass and alliums or garlic. And so here are a few little tips on how to tell them apart botanically. So this is a lovely little random patch of alliums. Alliums is the onion family that includes all things like onions, leeks, shallots, and onions. So here are some onions that I'm growing. These are actually walking onions, top-setting onions, Egyptian onions. They're all the same name, or different names for the same plant. And with these, instead of seeds when they go to flower, they actually produce little bulbs, like this little one down here. And then you can replant that and you get a whole new onion plant. I also have some multiplier onions, or potato onions, over here. These are also really fun. You just plant one onion and then over the course of the winter they'll trigger and create a nice little clump like this. And so from one onion you get multiple onions. You save one onion, put it back in the ground, and year after year you multiply your onions. So you can tell onions because they have circular stems. And so if we just break it apart, you can tell that it's hollow in there. It's a nice circular cross section. This over here is a little patch of baby leeks. This was a leek that was starting to form a bulb for whatever reason, and so I was like, ooh, let's put it in the ground and see what happens. And so more traditionally, you'll see, I'll pan over here to what's left over of my winter leeks. You'll see leeks that are just kind of like grown one or in a small clump, and to form your nice big leeks that you put into soups. Whereas here, it's kind of like a little small clump. But the same botanical characteristics apply. Has this really strong, what's called a keel, or it kind of has this folded V shape to the leaf. If you cut it in cross section, right? It looks like a V. That's a really good indicator it's a leek. And then also if you look at the shape, the folding over of the leaves, they fold over one on top of each other, and this is called an imbricated pattern of the leaf. So that really tight kind of layering is very indicative of the leaf. Leeks also typically tend to be a little bit more blue-green than some of our other more yellow onions or green onions. And then this is a little patch of garlic that I have growing over here. And this looks a lot different because than what you think of the single individual garlic growing, is because this was just garlic that I left in the ground, and year after year it has just kept dividing and sending up more and more little culms. This is a really easy way to get green garlic scapes almost year round here in Zone 7. You can just come and cut these off, and again, almost treat them like chives, but they have a really fun garlic flavor because it's garlic. So this is a nice little clump, and you're like, yay, pure garlic clump. And then you look closer, and dun dun dun, there's a grass hiding out in here. And so one of the ways that we can tell that this is a grass is because it has little stacked nodes, or these little sections. So it goes up to where the leaf takes off, and it goes up the stem, then another leaf, up the stem, and then another leaf, and then you can tell that that culm or the stem of the grass is just going to keep going and going. Another way to know that it is a grass is to look at how the leaves attach to the stem. You can tell here that they're strongly clasping the stem, almost like if you can kind of think of a shirt collar. So if my thumb is the back of the collar, then it's wrapping around and the buttons would be down the front. So you can kind of think of it that way. And also, as we look down deeper in here, around the column, you can see that almost like little white pinchers or auricles that kind of tend to clasp the stem. Sometimes there's also another structure called the ligule, which is like this little piece of papery membrane that comes out. But anyway, that clasping of, it's not wanting to focus on the grass. The clasping of the leaf to the stem is a really strong indicator that this is a grass. It also tends to have a really prominent midrib, much like the leek. Look at that parallel veination. And then also if you come down here, you can see that they're all growing from a central growing point there. And this is oftentimes, you can think of it as tillering, which is an action that grass does that creates our nice little solid sod lawns. So that is grass, and that is very different than what we see with our baby garlics. So with that, oh, goodbye grass. Well, I didn't get it. I'm gonna need a tool for that. Alright, I hope that was helpful in learning how to ID grass weeds in your garlic patch. And then this summer, if you are growing garlic, keep an eye out on your hardnecks. And if they tend to go to flower, I often tend to let mine go to flower a little bit because of bee feeds. The bees just adore them, and anyway, that's my own issue. So keep an eye out on it, and sometimes you'll get these little bulblets, which instead of a flower, they'll like produce little baby balls of garlic at the top, much like those top setting onions. And then you can take those and you can plant them. In a couple of years you'll get a garlic. Or you can use them as kind of a cut and come again chive garlic type of thing as well. So anyway, I hope you're having fun. I hope you're having a lovely equinox, and I hope you get some dirt under your fingernails. Take care.